Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and I'm back with another episode of my Out of the Park 20 playthrough with the Phillies. Pretty much picking up right where I left off. I simmed the draft offline, and this episode I'll go over at least the first few picks, and then we'll start playing out some more games, maybe get to the All-Star break and see if we can turn it around a little bit. Good news is we've got Gordon back healthy, and he's been playing really strong for us since he came off the DL or injured list. And some pictures, honestly, that aren't doing too bad. Mayhew is having the kind of year that I was hoping that he would have. He's been pretty solid in that starting rotation. Kurt Hines having a good year. He was pitcher of the month for May, I believe, in the National League. So that was a good sign. So overall, even though the record's 26-32, if we can just play a little bit above expectations on the pitching, which is what's going on right now, and get that offense back to where it used to be the last few seasons, we might compete for the playoffs. I don't know if we're going to repeat last year's 88 wins, though. It's looking really bad. But let's go ahead first off and look at the draft. I'll just basically look at the first 5 picks I had here. And I think we had a supplemental pick. So that was... we had one supplemental pick, and we picked a shortstop for that. But we went mainly with offense this time. For the most part, overall, we took, 3 pitchers, though, in the top 5. I'm always hoping to find some miracle in the draft when it comes to pitching, but this first guy we got, I've always liked second base players. I think you get a second base guy is good, adequate in defense, but has really good overall power numbers and contact and then speed. He could turn into a superstar player. And this guy, my scout thinks he's 4-star potential. OSA thinks he's 2.5-star potential. So not as solid with OSA, but OSA still has him with good speed and decent defense. So at 20, he's got some room to develop. Hopefully, I've got some good good coaching and managers in the minors that can help him develop pretty good and reach what my scout thinks his potential is. And then second pick was a shortstop. I like going with shortstops a lot of times. Shortstops and center fielders seem to be the two best, overall offensive and defensive players you'll find in the draft. But this guy, he's only, a lot of times I'll see someone rated primarily at shortstop can play other positions. He's only rated at shortstop, but just 20 years old. I think he's got some room to grow for his position ratings defensively. He's got some good infield range and arm, turn double play. Those numbers are okay. But same way with the first pick, he's got good contact potential, good gap, and home run power potential. Doesn't have a lot of speed, but that's okay if his defense and offense proves okay. And like the first one, OSA doesn't like him as much. And a lot of times it's like where you see that difference is in power. Just OSA, they've got him maxed out at 4, whereas my scout has him maxed out at 14. That's a big difference. Hopefully it'll come somewhere in the middle. If the guy's like double digits or 10 home run power, I'll be happy with that from an infield position. And then this is another one of those kind of starters I like to go with 4 pitches, even though that changeup's really weak. Double digit potential and the 3 major stuff, movement, control. But you combine that with his stamina and his personality ratings. Not a great option. OSA likes him, though, quite a bit more than my scout. So I kind of went with OSA on this one, hoping that he'll develop the way they think he's going to develop. Another center fielder. This guy, I like his personality ratings. He's young. He's got good speed. He'll improve on this defense. But this is kind of what I'm talking about. He's a center fielder who can play all 3 outfield positions, even first base. Really good contact and power, gap power potential. I like all of these basic ratings potentials really, but wasn't as good through OSA, so I'm going with my scout on that one. And then Colvin, who I picked in the third round, I believe. Um, he has some good personality rankings. Always curious and asking questions. Hopefully that'll lead to development. Double digit potential in all three of the main stuff, movement control, and he's got 4 pitches. He's going to be primarily a bullpen guy though, and my scout and OSA is not too far apart. I think I like this guy's makeup honestly for a bullpen guy. He might go through pretty quickly. He might develop pretty quickly. It's in my experience with out of the park baseball and several versions, the last few anyway. It's a whole lot easier to develop relief pitchers than any other position really on the team. So he's rated to be a good middle relief prospect. I think that's a good possibility for him. And then another pitcher I took in the 4th round. He's probably going to be another bullpen guy. I think OSA wasn't as high on him, but at that point, I didn't have too much left available in terms of what was there to choose from, so I just went with, and he was my fifth round pick. I just went with the best pitcher available at that point because pitchers were starting to come off the board really quick. So overall, not a great draft, but I didn't pick too highly. I mean, my first pick was 21st, and the sure bets are usually gone after you get past those first 5, sometimes 10 picks if it's a good draft. So I got maybe the best value I could out of it. I know this team, we've struggled developing prospects. We really need to turn that on, though. I mean, I need to really stay focused and make sure, here's a 4-star, 4.5-star potential closer, an outfielder here whose potential right now 3.5, but he's got some really good potential ratings. Love his speed and defense. I need to really make sure those guys get a chance to make it in the majors because we're not going to get the budgeting we need from the owner, and it's just going to be more and more important that we bring these guys up like that. Is there anything else I did? I don't think I did much of anything since that last. Mendoza's still in arbitration. I think I was thinking about re-signing him, but I'll leave that be for now. So looking at the standings before we get started playing, we are definitely far behind. Unlike the preseason predictions, who had it kind of jumbled, Atlanta's really taken off, and they are running away with it right now. 11.5 games up, playing .650. They've got the best record in baseball. So the division is not going to be up for grabs like I thought it was going to be. We're way behind in everything. I mean, we're 5.5 out of the 5 anyway, out of that last wild card spot. We've got to really turn it on. Individually, we don't have anybody showing up in any of the leaderboards here. And I know this is just top 3, so it's hard to make them, but Juan Renaga is really right now on pace for a Triple Crown year. This guy's amazing. Hopefully he can stay healthy, but he's doing that literally having missed a little bit of the start of the season. So I kind of worry, even though he's one of the best guys I've seen develop in this league, I kind of worry with that injury history. I worry how far he's going to get into his career. I don't think he's probably going to wind up putting up the outstanding total career numbers that are going to, make him a first ballot Hall of Famer or anything if his injuries keep up. But a lot of home runs in both leagues this year with Renaga and some other guys. Kansas City having a good year. I think they made the World Series last year. I'll have to look because I'm still running that. Yeah, they did. They lost to the Diamondbacks, but I'm still running that Reds playthrough just to kind of get an idea of how Out of the Park 20 is doing. So I'm having a hard time sometimes keeping the 2 playthroughs straight, but that's how the league's looking. If we look at how we're doing, that's not what I wanted. We are doing well as expected in overall offensive categories. I think home runs, I'm a little surprised, but we lost Gordon for a little bit of the start of the season. That might have played a role in that, but I expect their home runs to get a little bit better. But overall, offense is really doing well. And then, so far, I really think in some ways the pitching is overachieving. Where we're really struggling is defense. That zone rating, which I mentioned this last time. I'm glad they put that on this list. That's just a great team indicator, I think, of what you need to work on defensively. A little bit better, I think, the defensive efficiency, but and plus we've got wins above replacement, so that's also added, I think, in this version to this team statistics list. So the balance is almost there. We just need to, I think, get better offensively as we get going the rest of the season, because I've almost pretty much given up on that pitching. I'm just putting out the best staff I can come up with. And if you look at it individually, we are definitely getting great performances from Mayhew and Hines. Hopefully they can keep it up. And even Barbarossa, who is kind of a borderline starter, he's been a pretty good pickup for me. I've got him from Houston in the offseason. Didn't expect that he would be anything more than maybe a long relief or emergency starter, but he started 12 games so far, on pace for 34. So I really needed his needed those starts from him, and he's responded pretty well. Contreras still got a lot of development to go, but I'm gonna ride it out. I really am. I think at this point, the team is. We don't really have any good pitching options to throw out there anyway, and I'd rather give him some development. But Transu and White are the two bigger free agents I've had in the last 2 years in that bullpen. They're really stinking, and it's really worried me a little bit. I signed White, I think, to a 3-year deal, 2-year. So I signed him to a 2-year deal. Transu, he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. I may, if he can get a little bit better towards the trading deadline, I might try to trade him away, honestly, if I can get something for him. And then offensively, Norman, that average is up there, still waiting for a home run. Hopefully he'll get it before too long. Gordon has been really good since he came off the injured list. Cochran has, I really like having his bat in the lineup. He did a great job for Gordon when he was out. I think if you look at the let me find his as a starter, 31 games, 321 average, 5 home runs, 23 RBIs. He was really good. He filled in way better than I expected he would with Cochran out, or with Gordon out. But the rest of the team, Patillo's starting to hit a little bit better. Vargas is struggling. Vargas is probably going to be gone after this year. We've got a team option. I don't foresee keeping him 2 more years. I know he's a great fan favorite, but unless he really picks it up, I think this was probably going to be the year I let him go. Ugh. Hate to see that happen, but he's just not giving me anything in the lineup right now. So, all right, there we go. Let's go ahead and start playing out some games and see if we can get to the All-Star break. So we got a trade proposal already, a pitcher. And honestly, I think I'm going to stick with Hines here. He's got 3 strong pitches. He's just 28 years old. I've got him for at least another 2-3 years of control. I'm going to keep him on the team. We've got Players of the Week coming up here. And then power rankings, we're probably pretty low. We're 24th. Man, the Mets picked up a pretty good-looking starter here, even though he's wrecked. He's got some great numbers. All right, so we're going to be on the road against San Diego for 3 games. I want to check the waiver wire, too. Oops, didn't want to do that. I wanted to check that waiver wire just to make sure. I mean, there's some players that coming up here every once in a while. Bobby Reynolds, he's fragile, but he's not a bad starting pitcher. But I think I'm, for the most part, set with that rotation. Lugo's not doing that great, but I'll ride him out. And as far as Contreras, I've got to keep hoping that he's going to start playing better here. So first game we win 3-1. A lot of low-scoring wins this year. Even though we've got our pitching is probably our biggest problem. When we win, it seems like we win the close, low-scoring games. It's when we lose, it's the blowouts. The high-scoring blowouts. But in this game, we got Contreras, probably his best game of the year, and it was his first win. So his first ever win in the majors. Pretty good way to do it. 6 strong innings, just 1 run, 1 walk, 5 Ks. Mendoza picked up the save. And Rangers, pretty big injury for them. Game 2 at San Diego. Scored 3 runs again, but we lose. Jorge Rivas, he was actually looking pretty good. He'd been developing through the system. They're really pretty good the last few seasons, so he's going to be out for a while. So Gordon had another good game, 2 for 4. He may have gotten a home run, his 10th, but not much else. And Lugo only gave us 4 innings. And that bullpen, White, again, 2 runs. I'm really starting to think that wasn't a great pickup, even though he's rated fairly well, at least for a setup guy. I wonder if I have him as a setup. So these 2 guys agreed to the contract, or the draft bonus. Yeah, I've got him as a setup. I think that's where he needs to be, but he's just not doing well. So we win that last game. Injury there, and I'm not sure who that was. It went to another team. So 8-4, we win 2 of 3. Vargas was good at the top of the lineup. Stern looking pretty good. Swan and Mayhew, just 4 innings again. I'm not sure why my starters aren't getting to that 5 and above level. Espinal, he's a guy he's a free agent after this season. I really think I need to re-sign this guy. I don't know what it's going to take, though. If I'm looking at it right now, he's winning double digits. That's almost impossible to do that based on the kind of pitcher he is. I mean, I know he's not going to be a starter unless, I haven't tried this in a while. If I put him, God, I didn't want to do that either. Sorry, I'm just clicking buttons randomly here. So if I were to take him and set his position to starter, he would be a 3-star starter with just basically 2 really good pitches. Not a lot of stamina. That stamina would be hard to, I don't know if he would even be able to average 5 innings a start over the course of a season. So I really like him better as a reliever. And he's one of the better relievers in the game, honestly. If you look at the last 3 years, what he's done brings a lot of value to the team, but not 12, 13 million a year. That's tough. I don't really want to lose him, but I can't see giving him that much money either. All right, so good series against Tampa Bay. That was not Tampa Bay. That was San Diego. And I'm going to check the waiver wire. Keep checking it. Chris McCurry, he's out there. It's going to be a tough pickup there. $31.5 million. It looks like he's finally at the end of his career. Had a good run. He was MVP and Rookie of the Year. But doesn't look like he's going to have the Hall of Fame type numbers either. So first game we win 8-5 against Cincinnati. So so now offense starting to win those slugfest type games. And here it was, Ian Norman, his first home run of his major league career. Took him a long time to get there, but good game from him. Swan looking pretty good, although he's got an injury going on there. He's going to be minimal for the next week or two. And Portillo, he continues to to impress me a little bit. I'm thinking he's going to turn into a regular before it's all over. Mendoza looked good. Transu gave me a third of a scoreless inning. So looks like we're almost to the end of. We just got a couple of guys left. This guy, Eric Wire, was for some reason my scout recommended him. I didn't realize his signability was impossible, so I took him in that 35th round. I'm not going to even bother negotiating with him. So game 2 with Cincinnati rained out. And the All-Star voting is underway. In the National League, Alfredo Santana with Cincinnati looks like he might be having a decent game or decent year. I think he got a vesting contract. He's going to have to reach 550 plate appearances. I think he's well on pace for that. His big thing is, will he get to 3,000 hits? He's already passed 500 home runs. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, but would be nice to see him hit 3,000 hits. So we got Lohman getting some votes, even though he's having an off year. And that's the only player I'm seeing showing up there in the voting offensively, but Espinal and Mendoza getting votes on the pitching side. All right, so now we got a doubleheader at home against Cincinnati. We'll win one, so we split the doubleheader, but we win the series. First game, Lohman did have a good game here. Drove in 3. Hines, another win for him. 6 innings, solid. But we lost the second one 3-4 in extra innings. Vargas 2 for 4, top of the lineup. Gordon 2 for 5. He's hitting 282 now. He's got that average up. Contreras, man, he's going to be injured. Bullpen looked really good until Lugo blew it. And Lugo is a starter, so they had to put him in. So he's going to be... Influence is running. He's not on the DL. Strained hamstring. He's going to be fragile anyway. Who could I bring up if I wanted to put him on? I could give either Hannibal or Dion a look. Dion hasn't looked that great. Yeah, I think I'll not risk further injury and let him go on the DL. This is using just the 10-day. This is from an older save, so I don't know if the new CBA or whatever changed that injured list, the duration of it or not, but I'm going to put Dion in there as the 5th starter and see how he does while Contreras is out. All right, so looking at the news. Jonathan Condrey, who was a former Philly, was Player of the Week. I kind of forget did I trade him away to Cincinnati? I can't remember. I drafted him 5th round, and he was claimed off waivers. So he's turned into be a pretty decent, I don't know, utility type player. Got some great defense. I could really use him on my team, honestly. I like his personality ratings. I guess at the time I didn't have a place for him. So we've moved up to 17th. We are now, 4 games under 500, 30-34. Chris James back on that waiver wire. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't last too long. So let's go ahead. We're playing against Arizona. And Arizona struggling after winning the World Series last year. I think they lost a lot of players on that team. So hopefully we'll have a good time of it with them in this series. First game 7-2. Vargas, he's hitting back up to 250 now. Villa, 3 RBIs in this game. Lohman, another good game. Norman, 3 for 4. He's really doing well at the bat. Mayhew, another win, his 5th. No runs in 6 innings. All right, game 2 against Arizona. We lose 2-5. Barbarossa pitched okay, but didn't get to the 5th inning. Oh, he has he was injured. And White, no surprise there. He gave up some runs again. So, and this guy agreed to. So that was it. So all the top 5 draft picks there have signed. They're probably going to be at my Gulf Coast League team. This is the top pick. I really hope that he turns it on and turns out to be a good signing, good draft pick. All right, so third game against Arizona. Can we win? We do. So we've won 3 series in a row here. Vargas a good game. Portillo a good game. Vargas is starting to hit. That's good. So his month of June, he's batting .286. Not too bad for him. We'll see. Gordon may have gotten another home run. He did his 11th. Dion picked up the win. 5 strong innings from him. That's good to see. So now we're going to go up against Atlanta. This will be a very tough task here. This may break the streak. So we've won 3 series in a row on the road against Atlanta. I wouldn't mind winning at least one, and we win. And a save streak. Wow, Mendoza, 24 games saved in a row. That's awesome. I think Mendoza's gotten even better this season. So it took us extra innings, but 6-4, good way to start the series. Vargas continuing to play well. 2 walks and 2 runs in this game. On pace. I say I'm going to get rid of this guy, but then you look at his numbers. He's on pace for 98 runs. He's on pace for 98 walks, which is an on-base percentage of .367, even hitting .253. He's on pace for 36 steals. It's really, every time this has been the biggest dilemma, because I know defensively he's costing us. How bad is he costing us? A negative 10.1 zone rating. Efficiency of 932, which honestly isn't terrible, 2 errors, but it's hard to just give up on the guy when he does that. So Mendoza, this was his first blown save of the year. That's really pretty good, impressive. I hope he keeps that up. So game 2 at Atlanta. Oh, shutout, 10-0. Not good. Vargas 0 for 3. So I guess I was talking too good again about him. Lugo's really struggled this year. He's a guy who at times I've had a lot of interest from other teams. He's not really costing me a whole lot, but he's just this year's just not been a good year for him. All right, so game 3, can we win this series? And we do. So, man, we are still continuing to win. That's 4 series in a row that we've won. It looks like Chris Benefield is out. He's one of my better prospects as well. He's at Lakewood, which is a Class A team in I guess that's the South Atlantic League, but not playing too well. But he's got a good outlook, really, from my scout more than OSA. But I hope he comes back healthy. So 7-3 in that final game. Vargas back to a great game, 3 runs, puts him on pace to hit about 100 runs scored, which he hasn't done in a few seasons. Few guys there with double hits. Pitching wise, Mayhew 6 wins, 7 strong innings. Mendoza got his 15th save. So looking at the news now, players of the week, Jeff Perry is a big prospect for Baltimore. Power rankings, we're probably moving up here. We're up to 12th, and we're just 2 games under 500. Just a half game now back of the wild card, which is a pretty weak field right there so far this year. I'm going to take a look at waiver wire, and then we'll get going again. I wonder who to. Did I have Contreras is going to be out for another couple weeks, but did I have anybody on injured? Man, Alvarado is looking really good in the AAA. He might be somebody who's at least a good call up in September. So we got a tough series on the road against Washington, 4 games. First game, we lose 5-10. Eesh. Not a good start. Villa was 2 for 4. Norman 2 for 4. Barbarossa didn't look too good in this game. And then Transu and White did their usual, giving up a run every time they come in. So who was that? It just kind of blanked out really quick. All right, so game 2 at Washington. A shutout, 4-0. Great win there. Koopman 3 for 5. Lohman 2 for 3. Norman still hitting. He's not going to... He could still qualify for the Rookie of the Year, I think. He was a Rookie of the Month earlier in the season. So, yeah, he still qualifies for that. Dion, another solid game. Even though it's 4 walks, 7 1/3 scoreless innings. Oh, man. I may have to rethink whether I go with him or Contreras now. Third game against Washington. It's 10-4, so we're guaranteed a split, and I'm okay with that in a 4-game series. Let's see how we played it. Vargas, 4 for 6, scored 4, drove in 3. Wow. Average back up to 264. As soon as I start talking bad about this guy, he turns it on. Swan, good game. Stern, who hasn't looked all that great, had a good game here, 3 for 5. Hines pitched long enough to get the win, his 6th. Bullpen looked pretty good. Let me go back to that trade proposal from Detroit. Pitcher for Portillo. Nah, that's a good-looking pitcher. He's a starter. But it looks like he's signed 3 more years and fairly high on the back end. He's a good-looking starter though, for the most part. But Portillo, just 25. Oh, man, I've got another couple years with arbitration before he's arbitration eligible. I think I'd rather keep this guy. I don't want to get rid of him. All right, so game 4, can we win the series? We don't. So we split it. That's the first series we haven't won since I've started drafting here, or simming here. I'll just leave him there. He'll be back ready to play in a week. Villa was 2 for 4. Norman 2 for 4. He's really been hitting well, but Lugo lost it. It wasn't his worst game, honestly, of the year, but I wanted to check the waiver wire one more time. Got a decent-looking first baseman there, but nope, not decent defensively. Brito. Do we need some outfield help? Let me see. Aguirre via Stern. He's struggling a little bit. I'll probably just keep him up there. He's not gonna take a minor league assignment, I'm pretty sure. All right, so now we got 3 games at home against Miami. Got a trade proposal here from Chicago. A pitcher for one of my best prospects, and this guy's another second baseman. He's probably not too far away from getting promoted to at least Double-A. Bushrod is a starter, but he can be a starter, but again, I'm not going to trade a big prospect for a so-so pitcher at the moment. So game 1 against Miami, we lose 5-6. So we're struggling. We got close to 500, but couldn't get over the hump. Lohman's got his batting average back up to a decent 259. Mayhew struggled in this game. And we got another trade proposal. Pitcher and third baseman. Nope, not for Portillo for that. Game 2 against Miami. We win 3-2. Good comeback win there. And that's what I was talking about earlier. It seems like when we win those low-scoring games for the most part. Lohman, another good game. He's hitting 262 now. Maybe he's turning it on. Barbarossa, solid 7 innings from him. And All-Star voting, I think we're probably still looking at Lovin's getting some votes. I don't see him making it this year, but he has made a lot of them. I think, what is that, 6 career All-Star games in his career, and he's got a player option this year. It's going to be interesting to see if he keeps that, if he takes it. But he might be good enough to get another 2 or 3 years if he goes. Yeah, he's a 4-star. So if he were to decide to become a free agent, he'd probably get a 3 or 4 year contract at this point from somebody. Kevin Cox, leading vote getter for left field. And we still got Espinal and Mendoza. I think those guys have got a good chance of making the All-Star team this year. So game 3 against Miami. Can we keep our streak alive on the series? Nope. First series we've lost since I've started simming this episode. Vargas was good at the top of the lineup, but not much else. Dion, finally, bad outing from him, ruined his streak. And we've got mid-season review of goals from the owner. So he's probably a little upset. He wants us to fix some things. Defensive efficiency he's really upset about. He was happy that we got Villa for what it's worth. He hasn't been as rock solid as he was last year. Profit he's really happy about. But overall he's upset. I don't know if that means a whole lot. He keeps giving me a contract extension. We'll see how that looks at the end of the year. So we've got our bench coach and hitting coach coming up. I kind of like this guy as a hitting coach. He's at 62 years old, though. I don't know if he's going to stay around. His focus is on power, which is something that we've really not done all that well with. I would like to keep him if he will sign. Let's see if he'll. Yeah, but man, $542,000 for a coach, that's pretty high. But I'll go ahead and do that. Now the bench coach is coming up, and let's see how his relationships are. It's an average relationship, but he's got a good relationship with the players. His profile, for what it's worth, I mean, he's not that bad. I'll probably, unless he wants a lot of money, I'll keep him as well. And then I'll probably look at the minor leagues a little later in the year. So players of the week, nothing from the Phillies. And then power rankings, we are back down to 16th. So close to the middle of the pack. Transactions, I don't see anything I need to jump at there. And then now we're going against the Mets at home. We win that first one 4-2. This is another four game series. Gordon 3 for 3. Aguirre 2 for 3. Aguirre's not really turned it on that much this year. Hines got his 7th win. Mendoza another save. Mendoza's having a really good year, I think. We're just not winning a whole lot. Game 2 with New York. Lose 2-3. That's a close one. Offense, we struggled in this game. Lugo didn't pitch too badly. And honestly, Transu's ERA is back in the 5 range, so that's a little bit better. So let's see if we can at least split this series. Game 3, nail biter, 6-7 and extra innings. Villa 3 hits in the game. Gordon 3 hits. His average is up to 294, but not much else going on. Mayhew didn't look too great, and White, what can I do with that guy? 3 runs in an inning and 2/3. His record's 4-7 this year. That's not too good for a reliever. So game 4, see if we can split it. I'll look at the news after this one. Good win, 4-2 to close out the series. Koopman, Patia, Villa. Gordon, another solid game. Looks like he may have had a home run, 13. So even with time missed, he's on pace for 26. And Barbarossa picked up his 7th win. I haven't seen Vargas. Yeah, Vargas is out. Ugh. That's why I haven't seen him in the lineup. Let me take a look at the news here. Players of the week. Oh, this is the month. Sorry, we're into July. So, batter of the month, Toronto and Lewis for Atlanta. He's a pretty good looking overall player. And then Bobby Holmes and Jeremy Finneman for Cincinnati. Rookies of the month, Mike Woolbridge in the National League. And Zach Owenby's still pitching pretty strong there. Just got a shutout. He's on pace for 258 strikeouts. He's got an outside chance at hitting over 3,000 strikeouts for his career. But let me take a look at the waiver wire. We're not getting a scouting report this start this month, but I want to see if anything looks promising in the star ratings here. Bess is really tanking. I don't know if there's anybody in. There's nobody in really the minors I could call up. Yeah, Vargas. I'm just really hoping that's not going to be a big injury. So we're at Miami now, and free agents coming on the international. And at this point, let me see what's out there. So we got a catcher, right fielder, shortstop. Are there any sure bets on the pitching side? Not really. Let me see if OSA scouting doesn't see anything either. I mean, if there was a sure bet on the pitching, I might have tried for it, but so we got a trade proposal here. A left fielder for a left fielder. No, not sure what that would benefit me. So game 1 against Miami, we lose 2-3. Swan, pretty decent game. Norman 3 for 4. He's hit his second home run there at some point. Dion, just 3 runs in 5 2/3. Not too bad for him. And Juan Renaga hits his 300th home run. He's 26, and he's just hit his 300th home run. And Contreras is eligible to come off. I'm going to give him a rehab assignment in the minors. And I still have not heard anything on the Vargas rumor, or the Vargas injury. Game 2 against Miami. Another 2-3 loss. Hines pitched pretty good, but just no offense. And I did see the injury pop up. Vargas out for 3 months. Unfortunately, this may have been how he's going to wind up his career. And he was, or at least his career with the Phillies, he was looking pretty good there for a time. He's going to have his typical Vargas year, but now I'm going to have to put him on injured list for 60 days. So he might have an outside chance of coming back in September, but I wouldn't bet on it. So we got Eric Grove for Gordon. Not even in the realm of possibility. So now what am I going to do? Let me see if there's anybody who might have popped up on that waiver wire. Juan Galindo. He doesn't look too bad. Don't really need a third baseman, and he can't really play in the outfield. I'm going to look free agents too to see if there's any center fielders who might be out there. Amari Lassane, not a good raking, and he's injury prone. Another one who's not all that strong defensively. I mean, in the minors, I've got Jeremy Tuck. It might be his time to take over, I guess. I think I'm going to have to go with him as the starter And I'll back him lead off against lefties, and then against righties. Against lefties. He'll bat start. He'll lead off against righties. So Jeremy Tuck. The problem is Stern is so bad defensively. I'm just going to probably keep him in there. Maybe let Stern start every 5th game against left-handed pitchers. And then, so that's fine. And now, all right, so let's see what this is going to do to the offense. Game 3 against Miami. Finally eke out a 2-1 win. We're still 4 games under 500. Swine was good at the top of the lineup there, but Lugo looked pretty well. 5 innings strong to pick up his 4th win. Players of the week: Woodley, Leroy, Chris James gone for the season. I'm not sure why they would have picked him up. Power rankings were at 18th, and we got a little bit of let's go through one more week. I know we're getting long on this episode, but see what we got for at least see if we can get some positives and make a couple guys on the All-Star team. Ramirez found another so-so player in the Dominican. First game on the road against Atlanta. Big 3-1 win. That's a nice one. Tuck, his first game in place of Vargas, he scored a run. Gordon drove in 3. And Mayhew, solid 6 innings, 1 run, his 7th win. We've got a trade proposal from Miami. Yeah, everybody's wanting Portillo now. That's a good sign. Game 2 against Atlanta. 4-1, so our offense is just not doing it right now. Barbarossa pretty solid. Mannion, though, blew up in the bullpen. Game 3, 2-6. Offense is really, maybe that's the importance of Vargas in that lineup. He really does he's always kind of led that team when it comes to run scoring and getting on base. Steve White, I wonder what I could get for this guy at the moment if I'm just shopping him around. He's been a complete bust. Looks like I'm getting a lot of players out here. A lot of 2 stars. Good looking infielder there. It's from Atlanta. My scout, though, likes him a whole lot better in OSA. So we got some 3-star relievers. This guy's got some, a little bit of upside. Potential 3-star from OSA, just 26. He's barely pitched in the majors. He would definitely be bullpen only. I wouldn't mind some more help in the infield, and just in case Lohman does decide to not take that option year. Here's another one that looks pretty good from Colorado, 3-star. Dave Corbin, having a good year, honestly. He's been in this league for a long time, but every time I've kind of looked at him as a potential trade, or I always come back, even though his ratings are pretty good, I always come back to this. He dogs it too often, as I'm thinking that's a pretty poor rating to have. This guy looks pretty good. He's likable. It's not He's only 26 as well. I mean, at this point, nobody's going to be performing worse than White is. So he was valuable enough that I think I'll go for this guy from Kansas City. And yeah, I like this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and trade. Our money is going to look a little bit better. And we can put him right away in that pitching lineup. And he's going to be a middle reliever right off the bat. So now we're playing a doubleheader on the road against New York. Wow. Put that injury out of the way, but we won the first one 7-0. Gordon, a good game to hit his average is over 300 now. Great season from him, honestly. I wish we had him for the full year. Dion, 7 very strong innings. But that's going to be tough to replace him now. And then 2-0 in the second game. Lugo, strong. His ERA is down below 5 now. Mendoza, 20th save. Unbelievable. And so, pretty big injury there. He's a fairly decent prospect. So, finish off and let's see if we can win another game against New York on the road. We're going to find out the all-star team here shortly. At this point, it's going to be a struggle to get above 500, but we're 3 games below. I mean, it's in view, if nothing else. So this is a straight-up Chris Muncy. Yeah, I think Norman's a little bit better. Certainly better offensively. So let's look at the rosters. American League, going to see if I recognize any former Phillies. Rocky Stromain having another good year. Probably on pace for Cy Young's, having one of his best years. He's won 3 Cy Youngs already. Yeah, he could definitely be on pace for another one. So, any former Phillies? Brandon Kinsler Jr. having another good year, on pace for 50 home runs. But I didn't really see any other former Phillies. So, in the National League, do we have anybody make it here? Espinal, his first All-Star appearance, good deal for him. And Mendoza, so his second time making the All-Star game. That's probably going to be it. I can't imagine anybody else making it from the team. Offensively, not seeing anybody. Kevin Cox did make it, former Philly, now with Milwaukee. He's having a pretty decent year too. So, another doubleheader to end this series and this episode. And we may have split, which is fine with me at the moment. Let's see how we did. Yep, so we won 3 or 4 from New York on the road. Not too bad. Portillo, 2 for 4, looked good in this game. Tuck is struggling. I don't think he's ready for starting duties right now. And then second game, 7-6. Gordon, a great game. 4 for 4, scored 4, drove in 3. Lohman drove in 3. Barbarossa struggled, but the bullpen held on. Mendoza, another good game. And Condeshera, 2 scoreless outings since we picked him up. That may have been a great trade for us. But that's going to do it for this episode. We're 2-3 weeks from the trading deadline. I may look at some trades. What I usually do, looking at that front office, look at the upcoming free agents. Hate to get rid of Espinal, but he's going to be valuable. I'm going to look and see what I can get for him. There's no way I'm going to re-sign him for what he's wanting, which at this point, 11, 13.5 million. I just don't want to do that. So he's probably going to be somebody I look at trading, and I might even try to trade Transu away. He's not costing me a lot money wise, but boy is he struggling. And all batters. Via, geez, I may try to get this guy on an extension, to be honest. He's not having a great year, but if I can get him for a little bit of money, let's see what he would take. No. He might be somebody I try to trade. Mike Swan, I may try to re-sign Swan. So even though his offense has been so-so the last couple seasons, he's a good overall player. Depends on what I can get for him. But I'll probably go ahead and do a lot of that offline, and then we'll go forward, and next episode probably get to September and go through the last of the season, see if we've got another playoff run in us. It's been a long time. It'd be nice if we finally get one. And then still mulling over some options for another Out of the Park Baseball 20 series. I've got a really interesting idea, and one of my subscribers commented on an idea he had, and it's kind of in line with that. It's not an obvious challenge, but it's one where I would be basically trying to win, make the playoffs with some pretty heavy restrictions. And the team I'm looking at is probably not who you would think. I think a lot of people, when they look at, okay, who am I going to rebuild? If I want to rebuild challenge, who's going to be? I think a lot of people choose the Marlins, Tampa Bay. Even though Tampa Bay played well, they're always going to be a perennial struggle because of their market and budgeting and stuff. But I'm thinking of another team for this challenge, and I'll fill you in on a further episode if you're interested. Hopefully you will be. But for now, I'll close this episode out and see you next time when we try to get this Phillies team to the playoffs. Thanks for watching.